Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to college football week 6. Oh my goodness, guys. The season is feels like it's almost over. The division bets, the conference bets, they're looming. You could take new ones. We'll get into all that right now. Um, Heisman Trophy odds looking different. Quarterbacks being hurt. I mean, things are different, man. Wisconsin firing a coach. Chip, you weren't on last week. They're firing a coach in the middle of the season for the first time in decades. I mean, college football is crazy right now. We're gonna start off with our best bets. We'll get into some spite picks. But first, how you guys doing? Or did you guys learn anything last week?
Dude, I can't believe the Wisconsin firing that you talked about.
Yeah,
I
very un-Wisconsin move.
also something that I noticed last week, and I mean we've talked about it in years past too, is just the interim coach kind of bump. Saw with Georgia Tech winning outright. Saw it with a couple other schools that ended up doing pretty good last week. I think Nebraska won. Pretty sure that they covered as well. So I don't know. Wisconsin's a big one. I don't know if we're going to be talking about it today because I absolutely hate them. So
Mhm.
I stayed away from it.
North. Ooh, they're playing Northwestern though.
I
We can
know.
get to it. We can get to it, but they are playing Northwestern.
I
I
know.
know, but
But
I
yeah.
mean, something I learned was that whole buyout thing means nothing because these schools will just pay anything to get rid of these coaches. They don't care. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the number is. Like, if we don't want you, you're gone. And I can't believe that Auburn guy is still the coach there.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane
Chip's
that
been
the
calling for his job since before the season.
it's crazy. Like the Wisconsin coach, Christ, was in the Rose Bowl a couple years ago, and the Auburn coach like almost got fired last year. It's crazy that he's still there.
That's so funny. For me, guys, I mean, there's two teams that absolutely frustrated me last week. One of those was Army. I cannot stand them right now. I'm betting against Army right now. I'm sorry,
Wow,
dude.
fading Army is bold.
Dude, they lost 31-14 to Georgia State, bro. That was too much for me to handle. A blowout like that was tough.
It's a
The other
tough
team,
year for the service academies, man.
yeah.
Navy's bad.
I mean,
Navy's
Air
bad
Force has been
again.
looking okay.
Air Force is okay, but Army and Navy don't look good, especially Navy.
So Army pissed me off. Fresno State pissed me off. I mean, last week I was literally taking them, in long shot parlays to win the conference. They got absolutely smoked by one of the worst teams that we've watched this entire year. We've been talking about it from week to week, and that's UConn. So they pissed me off. And third for me is this Iowa. Why do I keep taking the Iowa spread? Just take the under. I keep saying out loud to myself on Saturday to every way. I'm telling everyone that asks me, take the Iowa under. And then what happens when Saturday shows up? I take the under and then match it with Iowa spread, and it just even every time. It's so annoying. So those are the things I've learned. We did okay on our best bets last week. Let's start off with our best bets again this week. Chip, give me one, man. Give me one to start the show off here today.
We talked about this before. The team that I love the most this week is NC State at home against Florida State,
Yes.
-3 right now.
Yes.
NC State at home. We talked about them on this podcast.
We talk
Uh,
about NC State every single week here,
we
Chip.
talk about NC State every week,
Yeah.
but we talked about how good they are at home, and
Yep.
they're coming off a loss now. It was a tough loss against Clemson, obviously, but their numbers against the spread after a loss are very good. After their last 6 losses, their next 6 games after that, they're 6-0 against the spread. They bounced back from losses, which makes sense. They have a very good coach. I trust them. I think that Florida State got a little exposed after that Wake game. Wake really lit them up, and I
Tim
mean,
Hartman.
yeah, Sam Hartman's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, NC State at home, man. I'm a little worried that it's only 3. Like, that seems like it's not enough. Maybe people think like NC State's gonna have a letdown game or something. I don't get
Well,
that, but
listen, everybody saw NC State look bad last week.
they didn't look that bad. They didn't look that bad. I don't know. I'm going NC State for sure. I think
Everybody,
Florida State stinks too, but
I agree. Besides our beloved defensive end from U Albany, but they've been playing great up until last week. So maybe we had that pinned down on this pod. or maybe some people just think last week was their letdown, and they're going to come back and beat an NC State who looked poor. But I agree with you. I think it was because of Clemson, and not only that. If you listen to our preview pods, I was all over NC State in the conference.
Yeah.
I am here to admit I am officially on Clemson to win the conference. I'm taking them in my parlays, in my long parlays. Just as a note, I'm taking some NCAA football conferences. I'm parlaying that with some NFL playoffs, which you could choose up to 7 at the moment. And then you could also choose up to 8 in both conferences in the NBA to make the playoffs. So that's how I'm getting these long shot parlays in. So I'm with you. Greg, do you have any thoughts on NC State? I know you're all about this home and away splits for them.
Yeah, I'm taking NC State as well. I agree. 3 points is a little low. Florida State could have just had a little bit of a look-ahead game last week where they were playing Boston College, looking ahead to NC State. I think they gave up 17 points in the fourth quarter, and they didn't score anything to lose that game, so it was a tough one for them, if I remember that correctly. And, dude, NC State just, like we've all talked about, just much better at home. -3.
It's a reverse line movement, though. I agree with you. It is weird. Of course, I'm taking NC State. I'll be a sucker this week. No problem.
Yeah.
It is weird. It opened at 3.5, the 70% of the money and the bets on NC State, and it moved down to 3. I don't love that. It's a late game, 8 p.m., but I have to go to NC State. I'm probably going to take them first half, too. Greg, give me a best bet.
Dude, I talked about it last week, trying to make amends for my beloved Maryland team. Took them last week, bet a little bit bigger on them than I did for other teams. That was an easy one.
The only Tagliavoa on the field this week.
Yeah, I'm a little. I can't decide if I like the spread more or the over more. I mean, Maryland's been able to score. We've talked about them kind of letting up a little bit in the fourth quarter. However, it's a 3-point spread at home against, so, it's not really a lot of room to really let up. Like, if they let up, the chances are they're going to absolutely lose the game. So, 59 is also kind of a low number for Maryland. I think earlier in the season.
Too. Like, is Purdue going to score?
Yeah, Purdue. So that's the thing. I think people, when they think of Purdue, they think of like the Purdue of a few years ago that was like very defensive, and they were playing Iowa, and they were playing Illinois, and they were scoring, 13-10 and stuff like that. Purdue's been able to score it this season.
Yeah, Purdue they throw a lot.
Yeah.
They sling it. Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of torn between the two. 66% of the money's on the spread. 59% of the money's on the over. So either way, both of those are leaning towards the public.
But it's going down. Another reversal here where it's 61.5. Now it's all the way down to 58.5. But yeah, the money
for the over, yeah. So that's the key. Just give me the spread in that one. Give me Maryland -3 as the best bet for me there. I also will be taking the over though, just as a regular bet. But
okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go with. Unfortunately, I realized today doing a little research, it's a popular pick. I didn't think it was going to be when I was just blindly looking at the board by myself. I thought it would be a hot take to take TCU -6.5. Everybody's all over Kansas. Everybody loves Kansas. I had TCU winning the conference in the preseason. I'm sticking with that. TCU has been impressive the whole way through. To be honest with you, I think Kansas is a fraud. I watched them last week. I know everybody was excited about them. I bet against them last week. I'm going to bet against them this week. I'm not on the Kansas train. Kansas is a basketball school. Give me TCU. They've been playing really good, man. I think TCU deserves a real bowl game. -6.5. Do you guys have any thoughts on this? The 81% of the money and 65% of the bets on TCU. So honestly, not looking great.
Really? 81% of the money on TCU?
Yeah, that means the quote-unquote sharps are on it, but also 65% of the actual bets are also on TCU. So I don't know what this really says.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't watched a ton of TCU, but I watched the Kansas game, obviously, last week. And then I watched them. Did they play Duke last week, or was that 2 weeks ago?
Whenever. I have to look it up.
Yeah, I watched. No, Kansas. Whatever. I watched the entire Duke game, or most of the Duke game anyway. And man, they are. I know TCU is probably better than Duke, but
they just played Iowa State.
I watched the Iowa State game. I watched
the worst game ever.
Yeah. Their offense.
Yeah, Duke was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Their offense is legit from what I've seen. Like their quarterback is really good. If he keeps playing like this, he's going to be a Heisman finalist. I don't know, man. I don't know if
He has
they
better
have.
odds than Hartman at the moment.
Yeah, they have so much momentum right now. I don't know if I'd bet against them,
Just
but
a loss.
they are at home, and I think it says something that they're 6.5 point dogs at home with all this momentum. And I don't know. I
Listen,
mean, it's kind of like an NBA team when you're going into the playoffs and, you're like, this team's never done it before. So maybe I don't want to bet on them. Kansas football's never done it before. So maybe I'm a little nervous about trusting them. TCU football has done it before.
sure. But talk about things that Kansas has never done. They have a pretty favorable schedule after this game. Like they have Oklahoma, which like I'm shrugging my shoulders here. I don't know if they're as good as we thought. They have a nice name. Baylor.
They stink, I think.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, which I know Greg loves, but I don't know. I think
Oklahoma State,
Dude, this
Texas
schedule's
Tech. Yeah.
this schedule. You're talking about Kansas's schedule?
Yeah.
Dude, it's a murderer's row.
What do you mean? You worried about Texas Tech?
Texas Tech beat Texas.
Dude, Texas Tech is so bad.
I'm worried,
Oh,
I'm worried about. If I'm Kansas, I'm worried about every one of these games. You're talking about. All right, so just for the viewers, schedule coming up: Oklahoma, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Texas, and Kansas State. Those are all the best teams they've played this season. They haven't played anyone according to that.
Yeah. Can I just say this? I don't know who's good in the Big 12 because
West
everybody keeps
Virginia
losing. Everybody keeps losing. I don't know who's
That's
good.
true.
Except
true.
Oklahoma State. I'm pretty sure Oklahoma State's really good.
That's
Other
a
than
big
them,
game.
I don't know who's any good.
That's going to be a big game for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's some value. If you like Kansas, I think there's some value on a little future bet here. I think they're going to get a real bowl game, which I'm excited about for them. But I'm taking TCU here. Chip, give me another best bet.
I
TCU
also
too,
got
by the way.
what was
What's up?
Ohio?
I'm taking
at?
TCU as well.
Okay.
Ohio's at home against Akron. Right now it's 10.5. I wanted to take since we're doing this, I wanted to take a MAC bet, and I really liked Ohio this year, and Akron's just so bad. And
They're the bottom 3 team. I don't understand why. There's a couple of spreads I just don't get this week. This is one of them for me, Chip. Akron's one of the worst teams in the league. I can't even watch them play.
no, they're terrible. They were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league, though. They got a new coach and a lot of players left, and they were supposed to
Bowling Green, bro.
Yeah,
they lost to
I
Bowling
mean,
Green. They lost to Liberty. Like, what else is there? I know Liberty's been playing a lot better.
Did they really lose to? They lost to Liberty too. No, Liberty's actually playing better, right?
Yeah, they've been playing a lot better.
Yeah. You said.
But they lost to Bowling Green last week, bro.
Yeah, Bowling Green. Every once in a while, Bowling Green plays a pretty damn good game.
Yeah, did they win outright
we know that.
as 17-point underdogs 2 weeks ago? I had them. I forget what.
Yeah, they
that
beat
was.
Marshall. They beat Marshall this year. Yeah,
Akron?
remember after Marshall? No, Bowling
Bowling
Green beat
Green.
Marshall.
Oh,
that was
okay.
their annual. Holy shit! Bowling Green just beat who game?
That was after Marshall.
Yeah.
That was after the Marshall upset game, right?
Yeah, me and Greg both took them in
Yeah.
that one. I was like, look, this is prime letdown game territory.
Back years, I got my money's worth from Bowling Green.
Yeah.
All right. I like Ohio, man. It's 11, 10, 11.
10.5. I guess it's more fading Akron,
Fair
you could
enough.
say, but
How's Ohio been?
Ohio, I think let me check their
Well,
their record. They're 2-3.
Yeah.
But they lost, one of their losses was Penn State and the other one was Iowa State.
Yeah, but their win was against Fordham, bro. It was 59-52.
Not a great defensive outing.
Yeah.
Giving up 52 to Fordham.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
They
And
lost to Penn State.
They did lose to Kent State, but Kent State is better than their record because they got 3 L's against 3 of like the best teams
That's
in the
true.
country.
And they covered.
Yeah. But they beat Florida Atlantic. Ohio beat Florida Atlantic. I think Ohio is better than their record indicates, the 2-3. And I also think Akron's just bad, and Akron on the road, I think they'll really struggle. Ohio's got a pretty good home field. So I think I like Ohio.
Fair enough. Greg, you got another best bet for us?
Dude, sticking with Ohio, give me Ohio State minus 27.5. We've
Shout
talked.
out our producer Raisi.
Shout out Raisi. I've been riding with Ohio State. They killed Wisconsin the other week. They're gonna kill Michigan State this week. They have absolutely been demolishing these
27
inferior
is crazy,
opponents.
bro. 27 is crazy.
Dude, that's nothing. They had 5 rushing touchdowns last week. They don't even need to throw the ball. They killed Rutgers. They run trick plays when they were up 49-10.
That was a dick move by them to do that.
I don't care as long as we're covering, Chip. That's what matters to me.
Let me ask you guys then.
Ryan Day's a fucking asshole.
It's
He
under
really is an
65
asshole.
though. You like that?
What's up?
65.
Ohio State could hang 60, so I don't know about that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't.
Thinking 60, 27 might be the easiest bet of all time.
I'm definitely taking Ohio State in this one.
First half is minus 15.5, which is also a lot.
Ohio State's kind of notorious for getting off the slow starts, I feel like. So they may blow them up in the second half. But I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
Also in the season, too, to your point about the overs and unders, they went under the first 2 games. They've been over every game since. So they're 3-0 on overs the last 3 weeks. So you got me thinking a little bit about that 65. I just don't know what I'm getting out of Michigan State.
Exactly.
I don't
They're
know.
not going to score.
Yeah, like
They're
I
not
don't
gonna
know if they're going to
score.
score 20 points to get me that 65.
No way.
I like
no
the under.
way.
I think I like the under here.
Yeah, to me, I'm staying away from that. I'm going, it's under 4 touchdowns. It's right under that number. I love Ohio State. I think they're going to kill Michigan State.
Fair enough. All right. I'm going to go with another team that we've been talking. Honestly, we've been talking your ear off about this all year also. The team that week 1 versus NC State was crazy. But I got ECU, guys. I mean, the line, another game, the line really, truly does not make any sense. But ECU, they either come out, I feel like they have a little Ohio State vibe. Obviously, they're not as good, but you know what you're getting as soon as they come out. Like, as soon as the game starts, you know if Ohio State is going to cover the game, and you know if ECU is going to cover the game. I'm sticking with them. I'm just going to ride their coattails all year. I'm just going to block. 3.5 makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. Do you guys have any thoughts on this game to walk me off the best bet here?
I don't.
Like Tulane.
No.
What do we think about Tulane?
I kind of like Tulane. That's why I stayed away from it. If anything, I was thinking about taking Tulane, dude. I say it every week, dude. I love the green wave. I love those jerseys.
3 and a hook? They're giving 3 and a hook to East Carolina? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about either of these teams. I mean, Tulane's 4-1 against the spread this season. They've been doing good, but they haven't really been playing that competitive of teams. I think Kansas State might be the best team that they've played. Maybe Houston, if you think Houston's good. But
The only game that ECU
They're not.
really – yeah, they're not. The only game that really pissed me off was 2 weeks ago, ECU against Navy, when they only won by 3. That's really the only game that the ECU really pissed me off. And then they came back last week and they killed Chip's favorite team, USF. So we're good to go.
Was it USF or UCF?
No, UCF is coming down. They beat USF.
Oh,
Well,
USF.
that's fine.
No, I don't have
UCF,
anything
yeah,
against them.
UCF in October 22nd.
I'll be betting East Carolina for that game.
And it's in East Carolina, so
Yes.
that's going to be tough.
I hope East Carolina slaughters them.
East Carolina's schedule, man. They're at Tulane, home versus Memphis, home versus UCF, and then at BYU. If they can go 3-1, that'd be amazing for them. But I think it's going to start with Tulane. Give me the 3.5. It's a sucker bet. I don't care. Give it to me. Chip, give me your last best bet.
Well, my last one, I didn't exactly get creative. I just took Bama because I think Nick Saban, coming off that loss last year against Jimbo, they had the little feud preseason, which wasn't a real feud. Jimbo said something and then backed down completely.
He's going to run it up on him.
I think he's going to run it up.
Yeah.
I think he's
I
really
agree.
going to run it up. I think he wants to stomp him. And it's at Bama, too.
And you can blame it on the backup quarterback. Oh, we just want reps.
Yeah.
We're just trying something new. You know what I mean? I could totally see that. I don't mind that bet at all.
I think it's a
Bama hasn't been
statement game.
covering, bro.
It's a statement game. And
Bama hasn't been covering. This
Yeah.
is a good statement game, actually. I agree with that.
it was kind of they've had some pretty lazy performances. The Texas game was obviously not great. And Arkansas, they obviously they played strong late. Jahmyr Gibbs was amazing in that game. But if they really put their foot on A&M's throat, I think that would show something. So I think they will. Minus 24.5 it is right now on FanDuel.
Greg, any thoughts on Bama?
Yeah, I was trying to look it up real quick because I've been watching Bama. I've been taking them first half, been taking them full game in some of the games. I agree they haven't been as dominant as they have in years past, the past few years, and I really think it has to do with the passing game and the lack of talent they have at that position, if you can say that. I mean, I'm sure they have some of the best wide receivers in the country, but if you look back at the last 2 or 3 years of receivers that they've been able to churn out, they put out 2, maybe 3 high caliber wide receivers at the NFL level every year for the last few years.
Yeah, they don't have that guy on the roster right now. I don't think.
And they usually have 3 of them. Like, it's tough for them right now. I think they have great 2 running backs. I love Gibbs. I'm blanking on the other guy's name right now. But also to go with that, their quarterback that came in last week to take over for Bryce Young, dude.
He was good.
He's big and he runs fast, and maybe he can throw it. Maybe he doesn't need to throw it. I don't know. But dude, I like Gibbs. I think he's awesome. I think he kind of do it all. Reminds me of Kamara a little bit, maybe.
Okay. You riding with Bama?
Bama first half minus 13.5.
I like that.
Definitely taking that.
Chums? Okay, cool. I'll take that. Give me your last best bets. We can move on to spite bets, and then go through this slate and see what we think in chronological order here.
My last best bet, you said earlier that I liked Oklahoma. I think the whole country likes Oklahoma State. 7th ranked team in the country right now. They're
Not Oklahoma, Oklahoma State.
Oh,
Let's make that clear.
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma, I can't stand. I hate them. I'm so happy I hated them preseason. I hate them now. They're the worst, bro. They're so bad.
They started out okay, but then they're fumbling. I don't know what they're doing. So, Oklahoma State, on the other hand, I come in here every week, say how much I like Mike Gundy. I don't know what to do about it. Scores points. He plays pretty good defense, especially for the Big 12.
You're a big social media guy, huh, Greg?
Yeah. And dude, they're just good. They're really good. So they got Texas Tech this week. Again, I said 2 weeks ago, or I said last week that the week before I will Texas Tech to win. I fought. I screamed. I did everything I could. We got the win for Texas Tech. I faded them kind of last week, but not really. I ended up taking the over against Kansas State. That was a really good one. And now, again, I have to fade them this week. I just think Oklahoma State's just a much better team. Texas Tech just can't do what these high-end teams can do on offense. And only giving 9 at home, I think it's
I see it 9-10, and then I see first half 5.5. I'm with you. I hate Texas Tech. I know that before we got on the show, you guys are telling me I'm crazy. Texas Tech is okay. I think they're so bad.
They're not.
Not bad.
You guys like Texas Tech?
They're not as good as like a top 10 team in the country, but for these
Give me one good game you like from them.
if they're playing ECU, I'm taking Texas Tech every time.
Mm-hmm.
Versus TCU?
ECU.
Oh no, they're playing TCU on November 5th.
Yeah, but like they're like that middle of the pack kind of team that will beat another middle of the pack team. They won't beat those high end teams. I think TCU's kind of a high end team at this point. I mean, they're one of the top offenses in the country.
I mean, they had the Texas game, but what else?
No, but like I said earlier, all these teams in the Big 12 keep losing, so I don't know who the best team is. It's probably Oklahoma State, because we have a proven track record on them, but it could be TCU.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it's not Oklahoma, but if Quinn Ewers comes back and is healthy, maybe it's Texas.
So the conference play is gonna determine everything here.
Yeah.
That's why.
By the way, is Quinn Ewers back this week, Chip?
He's playing against Oklahoma. Yeah,
he's playing.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, I like that. Let's jump in. I'm going to tail that too. I'm going to jump into the spite picks of the week before we go into the chronological slate as we always do. I'll start off here, boys. I mentioned it. I can't stand Army. Not the United States Army, but the football team. They have driven me absolutely nuts the last two. Last week, I was so mad, and I was at the baseball game like you, Chip. I was at the Yankee Stadium trying to catch a Judge home run, and I'm staring at my phone, and I'm getting incredibly angry every
Mhm.
time I would pull up the Army score. Went back, watched the highlights of that game. They are so bad. I am. It doesn't help them that they're playing my favorite team this year. They literally turned into be my favorite team. I love Hartman. I was. I think I love him so much because I was so wrong about him coming back. Believed all the hype. Chip, you had that pin from day one. You were like, dude,
He's
he's
hard
coming
not to
back.
like, man. You got to root for him.
He's so good. He's the best quarterback in the
Yeah.
country. I would honestly any team that's drafting next year that's freaking out about Stroud and Young, let everyone freak out about that and just take Hartman later. Like that's all. I love him. You guys mentioned the Kansas quarterback. You mentioned Bryce Young hurt. We always talk about CJ Stroud. Dude, plus 4,000 for Sam Hartman is to win the Heisman is value for me. I think he's gonna smack Army. I'm taking them first half. I'm taking them full, like minus 10 the first half, 17 full, no problem. Army stinks. Like they stink. And so that I'm taking Wake. Any thoughts on Wake and Army here?
I agree with you. I'm taking Wake as well. I just think there's too much offensive firepower on this team for Army. Once Army loses, once they're down 14 or 17 points, like what are you gonna do? You're not gonna air it out.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to catch up. And I think Wake with that offense, I think they can get it going. Might be a slow game. Might be not a high scoring game. Like it might be 24 to 6 or something like that by the end of this game.
Yeah, Army's not gonna score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for that prop. By the way, if FanDuel gives me a prop for Army not to score a touchdown, I'm gonna find it and I'll take it. I that's how much I can't stand them right now. These spike picks is starting to be are my favorite segments in this show because I have a lot of anger towards Army. No one is willing to listen to it, but I know you guys are, and I'm down with Wake.
Yeah, the only concern I have about that is the what's it called? That Wake's offense is so systematic that if they don't score on like the first possession or the first two possessions, Army could hold the ball for so long that they might not be able to just blow them out the whole game, and maybe Army gets a couple touchdowns, and maybe Hartman doesn't get into like a rhythm too well because of how long Army holds the ball for. But yeah, I think I don't know. Army has just not looked sharp
At all.
So
besides week one, and
yeah,
they got killed. Well, like
Yeah.
week one versus Coastal, I was like, okay, all right. They were close with UTSA. I was like, all right. Rode them the week after, and then I took them last week versus Georgia State, and they got crushed.
yeah. But the thing is, you're talking about they stick close with these teams. We thought Army was going to be pretty good this year. Like
Yeah.
Army was pretty good last year. We thought they were maybe like win 7 or 8 games this year. Like
2 games close, 2 games blowout, and they only covered 1, and that's
Yeah.
when they were minus 14.
mhm.
Yeah, they've definitely, I feel like to Chip's point, they've been trending in the right direction over the last few years. This was supposed to be their big year, and it's just not happening. I
Yeah.
like them. I
Listen, I'll
usually
take them
bet
versus-
every week, but I haven't been the last few weeks because it's just been tough to watch.
I'll take them next week versus Colgate. How about that?
Yeah.
All
If
right?
they don't beat Colgate, they have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So they'll get blown out by Wake, and then the line will be inflated versus Colgate. They'll probably be like minus 3 or something, minus 7. I'll take them. Chip, give me your spike pick. Did it already happen? Give me your second.
No, it did already happen. One of them, I took
SMU.
SMU against UCF,
Yeah.
and that
Wasn't
went
great.
horribly. And now I may have to add SMU for next week after they played so bad against UCF.
Real quick though, does that stuff about their players sitting out so they can keep their eligibility? Was that like propaganda from the media, or does that actually you think that actually affected SMU?
I honestly didn't even know that was happening until you tweeted that at me, and then
yeah.
I looked it up. I don't know. It
That scared
might have
me.
been. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. That article single-handedly made me not bet that game. I'm be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. I would have hit. So that's why I'm asking you about next week. But go ahead, give me your spike pick.
No, SMU is definitely disappointed this year. I thought they were going to be maybe challenged for the American Conference. My first spike pick is obviously I'm betting against Houston. Yeah, because I'm taking this is a Friday night game. Memphis minus 2.5. I took Houston last week. I think I took them pretty late Last week they played on Friday. I think I took them pretty late in the day because Tulane was down to like their backup quarterback and then their third string quarterback. And Houston was favored by like 2.5 or 3.5 or something. And they still lost against a third string quarterback. And it was infuriating to watch. Houston might be, no one talks about it because it's Houston, but Houston might be the most disappointing team in the country this year. Like they were favored by a lot of books to win the American this year because people thought Cincy would take a step back, and they've just kind of stunk. Yeah, like they've been really disappointing. And yeah, I honestly I don't even know that much about Memphis. Yeah, I haven't watched that much Memphis, but I'm very comfortable fading Houston -2.5, Memphis -2.5 here because I just have zero confidence in Houston. I think they're bad, and it's at Memphis, and yeah, I just fade in Houston here.
So Memphis has been favored in every single game except for the first week, which is versus Michigan State, and they got smacked 41-23. Other than that, I mean, they've won every game. They haven't covered them all, but they're in it to win it here.
Yeah. I agree with you, Chip, though. I was looking at the board, and I just saw Houston. I was like, oh, I'm just going to bet against them. Then I saw Memphis. So I was like, I don't really know too much about Memphis, so I'm just going to stay away. But I agree with you. Houston's just been such a big disappointment. I don't blame you for just fading them.
Does the money bother you, Greg?
No, I didn't even look at it.
So it's 50% of the bets, but 85% of the money is on Houston, which kind of means the sharp money's on Houston here. That kind of scares. I don't want to go get your spike pick. I will not take Houston. And Greg agreed. That's fine. I'm just saying. I'm just giving my 2 cents here. It scares me. I hate Houston as well, but I don't know. That scares me. Greg, give me your spike pick.
Dude, spike pick of the week. I think I kicked it off early in the season with Utah State. I'm going back to the well. I hate Utah State so much. And you know who they're playing this week?
Who are they playing?
Air Force. I love Air Force. They let me down last week. I was thinking about making them a spike pick because they slung huge touchdowns. 50, 60, 70 yards. Felt like 110 for Air Force. They threw a ball for a touchdown in the first quarter, and then after that, they did absolutely nothing the rest of the game and did not cover. But that's because they were playing Navy and they didn't need to. They just ran the ball, punt. And both teams did that all day. It was the lowest scoring game of the weekend, and it always is for the Academy games. So I think Air Force bounces back. I think that they come out with a plan here. -10 against Utah State. I just think Utah State is so bad. Give me Air Force. Don't care where the game's being played. I just like Air Force this season. They've been doing okay.
I'm with that. And with all that, we did our 3 best bets each. We got our spike pick out of the way. And now it's time to go through this slate, which, guys, it's not an amazing slate this week. There's great matchups, but not really amazing spreads, from my opinion. We got the Friday in, but Chip, I have to ask you about this game. I want to bet it. I don't know what to bet. I know what I want to, but I just don't know what I should do. And that's Friday night, Nebraska Rutgers +3 at home. I want to take Jim Leonard. I want to take that's Wisconsin. I want to take Nebraska. They stink. I'll go right with a little Compton here. I mean, just tell me what I'm missing with Piscataway. Is Piscataway gonna cover +3, bro?
I want to take Rutgers so bad. I can't bet against Rutgers, so I can't tell you to bet Nebraska or not. I'm very biased on this, obviously.
I know. That's what I'm asking you.
I say this is the Chip Bowl right here. This is it.
That's what I'm saying. This is Nebraska versus Rutgers. This is everything you thought in early versus your whole entire heart. And it's just crashing together. Both teams absolutely stink.
If Syracuse was like passing through Jersey at the same time, this would be the triumvirate for you. This would be it.
So, Cards, I am taking the over in this game. I do.
50.5.
Yes, I'm taking the over.
That's crazy.
Nebraska's going to score points?
I think they will. I think Nebraska's defense is that bad. That's what I'm saying. I think Nebraska's defense is that bad.
Can I be honest? I feel like you're reaching to not take Nebraska. I feel like you want to take Nebraska so bad, but you can't tell your family.
I don't.
Yeah, but we're recording this, so you're not saying that.
Yeah, my family are Syracuse fans. They wouldn't give a shit if I bet
Oh,
against
okay.
Rutgers. Yeah. They would probably think it was the smart move. But I don't know. I don't know. I have an emotional connection to Rutgers this season for whatever reason.
That's fine.
You're talking to guys who bet on the Jets every weekend, so
yeah, exactly. And
can't bet
hey, this week has been going great. Road Warriors, baby.
Yeah. And I can't bet on Nebraska and get burned by Nebraska and have it be betting against Rutgers. I can't fucking do that. And for some reason, I feel like if Rutgers is going to score against anyone, it's going to be against fucking Nebraska. Yeah. And they're going to be jacked up. It's Friday night. It's going to be sold out because Barstool's there. Dave Portnoy's there. Big Cat's there. So all the students are going to come out to see it. I think they're going to play well. I'm not sure if they'll win because I don't know if they have the offensive firepower. Like Nebraska can score more, obviously.
I hate the over, though. I honestly, I want to take the under because I think this game's going to be so bad that I just know I'm going to look up. It's going to be like 13-10 with like Rutgers driving at the end. Like, all right, like, you know what I mean?
I want to take the over because I hate it so much. Like, if it's like 10-0 at half, I am hammering the second half over. I'm doing it.
Oh my goodness, dude! 97% of the money's on the under, and 63% of the bets on the under. It feels like the Joe Schmo pick, I guess. Now that I look at it, but I just might have to because it's gonna be a disgusting game.
I can't bet it because it's New Jersey, so I have to text my brother. Give me the over in Rutgers, Nebraska, and he. He texted me back, please, with like 4 question marks.
Or like I expected him to say, I'll just take the bet. I'll take it.
I put it in for you, Chip.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, that game, this Friday slate's crazy. Colorado State, Nevada might be the worst game of all college football season.
God,
I think if it was Colorado, it would be worse, to be honest with you. But yeah, it is pretty bad, man. And
the Knicks play Friday night, right? But it's preseason now.
Yeah, I mean, but I would rather watch the Knicks on repeat.
The game I watched already. A preseason game I already watched.
Yeah,
I'll rewatch Detroit and then watch this game coming up here rather than watch Colorado State, Nevada.
Oh God, the Nebraska Rutgers game is the only worthwhile game on Friday night.
What'd you just call it? Because I think I kind of like that.
Nebraska.
Nebraska, I like that too. That's kind of that might catch on, Chip.
This is like Chips. It's so funny. It's like nobody in the whole nation cares about this game. Barstool, like you mentioned, and Porno are literally complaining every single episode this week about how they're going to Piscataway, and you're like, "Yo, I can't wait."
This Chips had this circled since before the season.
That's so funny. I love
the over. I'm gonna be so happy when Rutgers hangs 40 on Nebraska. That would be hilarious. And by hang 40, I mean their defense gets like 3 touchdowns. Yeah, what would probably happen.
Because Chip, if they hang 40, I would still hit the under. It'd be like 40-3. So I'm down with that. You guys have any other thoughts before we go into this noon Saturday slate?
Nope.
All right. We have our best bet from you with Maryland at noon.
Oh, one last thing on the Friday slate. I haven't bet it yet because I haven't looked enough into it, but I think Saturday night or Friday night I will be watching. I'm keeping my eye on UNLV.
Okay.
I'm keeping my eye on them. They're just a little team out there that are kind of West Coast team, under the radar a little bit, but dude, 4-1 right now. 4-1 against the spread as well.
You know where that one is?
Who?
Against Chip's Aggies last week, right? Did they play them last week?
Yeah.
I think it was that.
I think they won, though. I think they beat New Mexico.
They won, but it was 14.
Yeah, they lost to Cal early week 2. They lost to Cal. They haven't really played anyone, but still 4-1 against the spreads. 4-1 against the spread. That's all we care about here. It's a gambling show. Like and subscribe. Winning P Weekly on Twitter. Chip Murphy 7 on Twitter. So just keep an eye on that.
EPC on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So check us out. Let us know who you're keeping your eye on this week in the comments because I'm just keeping my eye on UNLV. Not going to bet them this week. Haven't watched enough, but I will be watching this week. Maybe we'll see a best bet next week. Who knows?
All right, Chip. Do you have a game here at noon? They want to start us off here with. We talked about a couple of your games here, but there's a couple of games I'm confused about.
Okay. Well, there's two I'm definitely looking at. And Michigan, I always bet Michigan, I feel like, but I'm betting them again. And I'm not taking spread in this one, though, because I keep getting burned betting spreads in Michigan games. So I'm taking the over in Michigan against Indiana.
I might have to put you in Michigan Anonymous at some point.
Yeah.
This is tough.
I can't. They're
Watching
all
week to week take Michigan is starting to hurt my soul.
I know. I keep taking them, but I'm not taking them spread. So I'm going with the over here. It's 59.5 right now. Michigan, I believe 9-3 to the over in their last 12 conference games, I believe is the, yeah.
Yeah, but they're 0-4-1 this year, right? Like
They haven't played any. Have they played any conference games?
No, I'm saying in general.
Oh, in general, are they?
4 unders. And,
yeah,
and,
they played Iowa last week, right? And they played Maryland the week before.
All unders. Everything.
Yeah, but they've played a lot of shit teams though. Yeah, like
before
Indiana's
that. Before
better.
that was Colorado State, Hawaii, and Connecticut. We talked about in the season. They don't play anyone until October.
Mm-hmm. So Indiana's better than all the teams they've played so far. I mean, better offense. Better offense. Yeah.
I was gonna say, you guys are talking about Chippy, the Michigan guy. He bet Iowa last week. I had Michigan. I'm the Michigan guy.
Yeah. I did.
Give me Michigan. I did. Give me Michigan first half.
Minus
-12.5. Absolutely. Indiana who?
You're right.
Indiana who? I'm not saying Indiana's some great team. I've talked about how they stink on this podcast before, but I like the over here. I'm just saying I like the over. I'm not. You want to trust Michigan? Trust Michigan.
Indiana can definitely score. Michigan can definitely score. They showed against Iowa. I heard all week from John about this Iowa defense. Oh, this Iowa defense. They stink.
Hit that under.
They stink. They scored 14 points in the fourth quarter when Michigan was already up 20-0 because Michigan felt bad for Iowa.
I hate Iowa so much. I almost made that my spike pick. I fucking hate Iowa.
How is Petra still a quarterback there? They don't have anybody else. Like they can't call someone else. They don't
have anyone else in the state of Iowa who can throw a football.
It's crazy. He's so bad. Like what are they watching?
He's old as hell. He looks like he's 32.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why he's still the quarterback. But okay, that's fine. You like Michigan?
I'm the Michigan guy. I'm taking Michigan first half minus 12.5.
I am a Michigan guy, by the way. I am a Michigan guy. I have them to win the Big Ten in multiple parlays. I am a Michigan guy.
They're going to lose versus Ohio State next week, obviously.
Of course.
But we'll get to that when we get there.
We will get there.
Is that next week?
I don't know. That's the end of the season.
Penn State's next week.
Yeah.
In Penn State.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All right. They're home against Penn State.
Are they?
My little cheat sheet says home. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong.
No, you're right.
Yeah, home against Penn State, home against Michigan State. Imagine if Michigan State upsets them. That's their only good win of the season. Michigan State looks terrible all season, but they beat Michigan.
God, and then Mel Tucker gets another raise because of
it. Forget that 10-year contract. Let's give him a 12-year contract.
I wouldn't kind of shove that Penn State game away. Just because Michigan just plays bad versus conference teams.
Sure.
All right. Give me another noon game.
So I might be stealing this from Chip. He said he had 2 games that he liked. I knew he was going to talk about the Michigan game. Oh, no, I know the other game he's talking about. And I'm taking that too, so I'll take a different one. He's talked a lot about Mississippi State and this defense all season. I think the defense is pretty good. 58's a pretty good number here. I agree with Chip. I think the defense hasn't been as dominant as we expected, but they've been pretty solid. Arkansas, was it KJ Fuller's our quarterback there that runs the ball a lot there? I think he's hurt. It's KJ something.
Jefferson.
KJ Jefferson. Yeah, KJ Jefferson. So I think he's out this week. That's why the number's a little bit high. But for me, 58, I'm okay with that. Give me the under 58 for Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, Arkansas. Yeah, I wasn't looking at that one too much.
Chip, what are you looking at?
I was looking at that Red River.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was looking at that a little bit, but no, you meant I don't know what you were talking about.
Don't say shootout. AT&T is gonna take away the.
You just said it.
Oh yeah,
you just said it.
I'm joking. I'm just joking.
You just said it. Don't say Super Bowl. Don't say Super Bowl.
Don't say Super Bowl. Don't say shootout because AT&T might not advertise with us anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize they weren't. Oh, that makes sense. They're
It's
not
a
saying
showdown. They don't want to say shootout.
Yeah,
that's
they don't want to say shootout.
kinda-
That makes sense.
I like
actually.
Red
I get
River rivalry.
that. Yeah,
Get those
that's a good
R's
one.
rolling.
You can't even say it slowly.
I can't say it at
Yeah.
all. But I'm,
Yeah,
that's
Red
me.
River
I'm not
Red River rivalry. Rivalry. There you
Maybe
go.
that's why they do showdown.
Yeah, that's why they do shootout, showdown, whatever.
Graduated from Albany though. I'm not
Whoa.
not a mathematician over here.
Yeah.
Hey, you can be anything you want, man. Go
It's
ask defensive end from Florida State. Chip, what are you looking at, man?
Oh, right. Tennessee is -3 against LSU
Yes.
Okay.
on the road.
Talk to me.
I hate LSU. I hate Brian Kelly.
Yes, I
They
agree.
beat Auburn by 4. Yeah. Auburn is awful.
Does this spread make sense to you? And
Not-
Tennessee's
not
in
at
great
all.
jerseys.
Not at all. I think people expect Tennessee to have a Tennessee game here and go into LSU and do what Tennessee does and disappoint and have a Tennessee loss.
But it's at noon. If this was LSU at night, I would kind of understand.
Which is so dumb that this is a noon game.
I
And
know.
You guys
Clemson
were
Boston
saying this-
College is the night game.
Yeah,
I was
you guys
like,
were saying the
what?
schedule is not great. I think this noon slate's incredible, man.
I think the noon slate is
game.
great. It bothers me that this is the noon. Like this should be the 8 o'clock
It
game, not
should
Clemson
be.
Boston College.
Absolutely.
I was
Chad.
not bothered by the actual game this week. I'm just, from my perspective, it's a tough week to bet. You know, I just see hard spreads. Like I don't really know what's going to happen to Tennessee LSU, but if the spread, I'm telling you guys right now, if it was -9 Tennessee, I would bang Tennessee. I would be all over it. But the fact that it's 2.5, I'm like, what's going on here? I don't know
It's
what
weird.
I'm missing.
It's
I'm
weird
probably
that
still
it's
going to
2.5.
take Tennessee, but I'm telling you guys that gray jersey really does scare me. I'm not joking. I know that sounds stupid, but that gray jersey, I don't know. It's just weird for me. We talked about a bunch of the noon games though, right? We got TCU going. Do you guys have any thoughts on Missouri, Florida? I think this is a really interesting SEC game, especially after what Mizzou did last week. Everyone's freaking out about how they almost beat Georgia.
I think it's a huge letdown spot for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
I don't think
At
they're a very
Florida,
good team.
too.
At Florida in the swamp. The line opened at 10, it's now up to 11.5. I see it at. This is one of the things where like if I was I agree with you, maybe I'm scared of the Tennessee game, I'm scared of the Florida game, so I stayed away. This is almost like the inverse of the Tennessee game. Like you were saying, Tennessee, if it was 9 or 10 points, like, oh, I would hammer Tennessee. This one is 9. This one's 11 points. I'm still staying away from it just because I have 17 plays already, and I like them more than these two. But these are two games. I would just take the favorites in both these. I think Tennessee is better than LSU. I think Florida is way better than Missouri. I think Missouri partied their ass off and went crazy last weekend just for keeping it close against Georgia.
That sounds like the Jets.
Yeah. So I think Florida just comes ready to roll and kills this team. Were they on a bye last week?
No, they played last week. They
Was that
crushed.
Was that
So we could
Tennessee?
say Florida crushed with it. Was it EWU?
I don't even see that on the
Washington.
ESPN thing.
Eastern Washington they beat last week.
Oh,
52.
okay.
Honestly, besides the Tennessee game, that's really the only game that pissed me off with Florida this year. I've been liking them all year, especially that Utah game. Right, week 1 they came out, impressive from the start. The only game they really disappointed was the Tennessee game. At least they covered. I'm gonna slam Florida first half -6.5, and I'm gonna throw into a first half parlay, which I usually do at noon.
I like that. I'm adding that to my card. That's why I'm happy to talk about this.
Okay.
I'm not adding any more plays to my card. I got 17. I'm
Yeah.
adding.
Well, you give me a good number like 6.5. I mean,
I love it. Do you guys want to just talk to us about this Texas Oklahoma game, one of the marquee games of the 12? I have no thoughts on it. I hate both these teams equally in this Red River Showdown.
You hate Texas the same as Oklahoma?
Yeah, once Archie comes, we'll talk. Right now, I really don't like this Texas team. I keep watching them week to week because they're the most famous team. They're always on TV. Everybody wants to talk about them. Everyone wants to bet them. I really don't like them. I don't know. I don't think they're good. That's why that Texas Tech game wasn't that impressive for me. Right. The only game that was really, really good was, of course, the Alabama game. But again, that's just another celebrate because we're close game. I don't know. I hate Texas. I hate Oklahoma. To be honest with you, I'd probably just take the over because both the defenses stink. But I'm probably not touching this game.
The over's so high though, isn't it?
65 and a half. It's going up too, bro. I opened at 65. Now it has a hook. If it keeps going up, I might just take the under. You know what I mean? Like I have no thoughts. This is like this game. This is one of those college football games that I'm only gonna play so I could turn it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like that for the NFL for me. Like the Denver Indy game, I have them in like a couple pools, but I didn't actually, take it separately. I can still watch it. I don't care. I can still watch, the Colts versus the Broncos, terrible teams, 6-0 right now, about to end the first half, like just terrible. I could watch that. With college football, I need to bet in order to actually watch it. So I probably just go either under or over. Man, 65 and a half. I agree with you. Maybe I'll let it inflate to 66 and take the under or something. Do you guys have thoughts on the showdown? Everybody wants to take the over because it's this game. It's the showdown. Everybody is dying to take the over. That's why I was gonna roll with it. But I just feel like that douchebag. You know what I mean? Like rooting for the thing that everybody wants the over because it's just fun. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's take the under. So I don't know. We'll see. You guys have thoughts?
I'm scared of this game. I don't know what. I think Oklahoma stinks, and Quinn Ewers is coming back, so I'm tempted to take Texas because of that. But I have no idea how he's going to look. Yeah, I think he's really good. Yeah, but I have no idea how he's going to look coming off the injury or how much he'll play. And if he doesn't play, Texas isn't going to put up as many points as as the total says they're going to put up. Yeah, I think I'll stay away from it altogether.
I'm making this my official. I just like coming up with names for picks. Apparently, this is my line in the sand game of the week. This is my last time I'm picking Oklahoma if they don't cover.
What's that mean, Greg? What's the line?
You're taking Oklahoma.
I am taking Oklahoma plus 9. This is going to be a close game. This is my line in the sand. If Oklahoma cannot cover this game, they're dead to me. They'll be my spite pick of the week next week, whoever they're playing. This is it right here. I think Card's been a pretty good backup for Texas. If Ewers comes back and he looks a little iffy, maybe you get it's a little bit closer. Maybe you get an outright win, but I just think Oklahoma's looked so shaky the last 2 weeks. They're begging you to take Texas with 9 points. They're like, oh, Oklahoma's look so bad. Here's a good number to take. 80% of the money's on Texas. 80-something% of the money's on the over. I like Oklahoma here.
83% of the money, 83% of the money, and 66% of the bets all on Texas. I mean, if I'm betting this game, I'm also going to take Oklahoma plus 9.
Yeah,
but still, I guess we'll see.
This is it though. I lose money every week on Oklahoma. I can't keep doing it. It's driving me crazy.
They got Kansas next week, and I'm taking Kansas next week because I'm fading them this week.
Perfect.
So I'm ready to bet against Oklahoma next week. So it's almost like a look ahead for me too.
Yeah,
like
gambling look ahead. Yeah,
I might take Oklahoma this week because I know I'm fading them next week, and I'm fading Kansas now. I'm gonna take them next week.
That's it for the new games for me though.
Hey, YouTube Chip. I think we talked about all of them.
I think we talked about all of them, right?
Yeah, I don't have many plays for the 3 o'clock besides my 2 best bets, East Carolina and Utah. I'm gonna add Oklahoma State because of you guys, but there's some other interesting games that we could talk about. There's Wisconsin Northwestern, which we mentioned. There's Greg's favorite spite pick, Ball State against Central Michigan. You guys have any games in this afternoon slate? 3:30, 4, any of those games?
Well, I'm definitely taking Central Michigan. Love the Chippewas. So I'll be tailing Greg's spite pick there. And I may have to add, to the noon slate, I might have to add Western Michigan against Eastern Michigan. I have to do that, -4.5. But to the 3:30 games, looking at it right now, and 2 games that stick out to me, Wisconsin against Northwestern and Vatek against Pitt. We were talking about the interim coach bump. Wisconsin, obviously, Paul Chris got fired. everybody likes Jim Leonard, and it looks like he may be the next head coach there.
Shout out,
And
my boy.
and
I love Jim Leonard's one of my favorite players. So
yeah, it seems like he's gonna get the job. It's like an inevitable thing. Like the interim tag is just a formality, and
Yeah.
I don't know. And also Northwestern sucks. Yeah, I know it's 10.5. It may seem like a big number for a team that just fired their coach, so they're not very good. And it's at Northwestern, but this is, I mean, we've said this before on the show. This is not like the typical like upstart underdog Northwestern team that pulls it out every once in a while. This team's not very good, and I mean they lost to Duke. Yeah, like they've lost to a lot. They're not good, so I'm comfortable taking Wisconsin minus 10.5 here. What was the other game I mentioned? Virginia Tech is plus 15.5 against Pitt. And look, I think Pitt got embarrassed by Georgia Tech last week. So I just don't, again, I took the under on them before the season. I thought they were going to disappoint, and they are going to disappoint, and they have already disappointed you lose to Georgia Tech like that, and your season's over. Your season is over after that.
Fact.
And look, Virginia Tech has not had a very good year. Obviously, their record is 2-3, but I don't know. I think 15.5 is a lot for a team that just, lost at Georgia Tech. That, I don't know, hasn't proved that much to me. Pitt. I mean, what have they done really? They should have lost to West Virginia. I don't know. I just don't think they're very good. And I know it's at home, and I know Vatek just got pummeled by UNC last week. So that's probably why the number is bigger. But I mean, Pitt doesn't have an offense like UNC. So I'm not too worried about that. And yeah, I like Vatek here, plus 15.5 on the road.
All right, Greg, any thoughts on those games? I like that. I don't have really thoughts on those.
Yeah, I like both of that stuff. The one, I'm not taking either of those games. I kind of thought about Pitt in a bounce back spot here, but they just haven't looked as good as they did last year, so I'm staying away from them.
Yeah.
You talked about Utah and taking Utah. I kind of think I might buck the trend and go UCLA plus 3.5 at home. Like, a lot of the money's on Utah. Everyone was on Utah. I was on Utah. I picked them to win the conference. I picked them to go to the championship. I picked them to win the championship. Cam Rising has been good. The team's been good. But, dude, I think you guys just underestimate UCLA. I think that people underestimated them last year.
I am underestimating UCLA, yes.
Like, dude,
I agree with you.
Yeah, like UCLA's offense, again, from what I'm seeing on the site that I'm looking at, points per game, 11th in the country, yards per game, 512, 8th in the country.
They played nobody.
Defense.
They played Bowling Green, Colorado, South Alabama. Like
Well, South Alabama's covering. I think they're the best team against the spread in the country. So
yeah, they won by one. UCLA won by one.
Yeah, so they're not bad. So this is what it is. Is it true? This is their first true test. Utah, they had that tough loss on the road.
Well, they beat Washington, right? UCLA, that was their big win.
Yeah, was that last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had Washington in that one. So, yeah, I feel like I psyched myself out a little bit too much. I'm going back to UCLA at home getting points. I don't think Utah is ready for this environment. Again, defense has been pretty good as well. Opponent rushes per game, 9th in the country. Yards per rush, 7th in the country. Like, yeah, they haven't played a ton of great opponents, but they've been looking good against bad opponents. So now it's a true test. So, like I said, just give me the home team getting points. Give me UCLA plus 3.5 in the afternoon. What's up?
The 4-1 against the spread.
UCLA.
Besides that South Alabama game.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah. Chip, any thoughts here? I still love Utah.
Love Utah. I'm not too worried about that raucous football atmosphere from the UCLA fans.
Oh, it's gonna be wild.
I think Utah will be fine there. I think
UCLA is gonna lose 2 straight games. They're gonna lose versus Utah, and then they're gonna lose at Oregon. So We'll see how that goes.
Oregon's a tough one this week.
Okay, we'll get to that. That's my bring me back late game. Once once I finish the slate. One of the games here that I have to take. It's weird. I would have loved this preseason, not necessarily right now, but I'm still going to take it. I still love it. Give me Miami, 3.5 against North Carolina. What do you guys think?
You're sick in the head.
I'm sick. I know.
You're
No,
sick
You guys
in the
I'm
head.
not.
You guys like UNC right now? They're second to win the ACC at plus 900 after Clemson at minus 250.
I think Clemson's going to steamroll that.
Yeah, Clemson's.
What's
gonna win the
Clemson? Like
ACC
minus
easy.
1,500?
No, minus 250.
Oh, minus 250 you just said.
Yeah, but I'm saying
I
that
like that.
the point is the second team is North Carolina, and that's who's playing Miami this week in Miami. I'm just not impressed by North Carolina at all. I think Miami gets their bounce back game. They have not looked good at all.
They look.
Miami has not looked good.
Their
This is-
quarterback was supposed to be good, Van Dyke, and he's got benched against Middle Tennessee.
I want to take him.
They got exposed by Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
It's so disgusting. I like the pick, but I can't take it.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's just one of those. Anything else in the afternoon from you guys?
Nope, I got 7 o'clock games.
Go ahead. Wait, Chip, are you good for the 4?
No, I mean I'm taking Ohio State.
Yeah, we know that.
But we already talked about that,
Yep.
and yeah, that's it.
I might take Middle Tennessee just because of last week. I hate UAB. They're catching 9.5. Everyone's on UAB. Might be one of those games. I throw in a parlay just to watch it.
May have to take Duke against Georgia Tech.
Another one
After
for
that.
me is
Yeah.
maybe Ole Miss first half against Vandy, but it's a lot
Vandy's
of points.
So bad.
It's a lot of points.
So for the 7 o'clock slate, a little storyline that I started to find when I was looking at these games is we have a battle of titans at the 7 p.m. slate that you'll never know it if you weren't looking at the spread records instead of the real records.
Uh-oh.
Southern Miss versus Troy
I knew you were going to pick that
And-
game for some crazy reason.
and JMU versus Arkansas State.
Oh, JMU.
I mean,
Well,
it's
JMU
crazy. Southern Miss is 4-0 against the spread.
Can I say something even weirder about the JMU game before you get into the numbers? That game's
Sure.
on NFL Network.
Yeah, why is NFL Network airing college games?
Dude,
They,
that,
they do it
that
every
weirds
week.
me out.
They have one. It's weird.
Yeah, I
Really?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I never noticed it until this week. Week 6, I guess it took me to notice it.
Dude,
I was
in a
like-
certain window, I get like 7 games on at once on regular cable, not even like ESPN Plus and streaming and stuff like that. There's
I
so
have-
many games on.
On my regular Verizon cable on Saturday, I sometimes have like 7, 8 games. Sometimes teams I've never even heard of, like that are not on my on our slate like at all. Like I can't even bet the game. It's like
Yeah.
who are these teams? I forgot what it even was last week. But yeah, I agree with you. Go ahead. Sorry to cut
Yeah,
you
so
off.
Southern Miss 4-0 against the spread, playing Troy, who's 4-1 against the spread. An absolute powerhouse matchup. And as well, was it JMU is playing Arkansas State. Arkansas State 5-0 against the spread. JMU, I think, is 1-4 or 4-1 against the spread.
I can't believe they're not ranked, bro.
I think they might be after this week.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they might be after this week, but 11 points just scares me. So I'm staying away from that one.
Addison's 4-0 against the spread.
James Madison's 4-0 against the spread. So 4-0 against the 5-0 there. Dude, it's just crazy. To me, it's just insane that these 4 teams are teams most people that are watching has never heard of. And they're some of the best teams against the spread this season. It's crazy. But for me in this one, I'm just going Southern Miss because of the betting. 26% of the bets are on Southern Miss, but 88% of the money is on Southern Miss. So some sharp better somewhere is betting a lot of money on Southern Miss. I'm riding with that. When everyone's good and it's going to be a close game, take the points. That's how I look at it. So, and it's a road underdog. I like that better than JMU. It's a road favorite. So, give me Southern Miss in this one.
I mean, the only reason I like that is because the only time I faded Troy on purpose, they didn't cover, which was versus Appalachian State, which is after that big App State win. So that pissed me off.
they almost covered.
I know. So
Yeah.
I'm off Troy. So I like the pick. I'm probably not going to take it, but if I had to, I'll roll with you. What do you got, Chip? You got any thoughts on this game or the James Madison?
I'm definitely taking Southern Miss after what Greg just said.
Yeah, I think Greg got us on board. I'm down.
Yeah, that's my thoughts there. I'm taking Southern Miss against Troy.
Dude,
I'm
they're the second. You're right, John. I missed James Madison on my list here. They are 4-0 against the spread because they're the number one team against the spread in the country. Southern Miss is number 2. James Madison is covered by 15.5 points across 4 games, and Southern Miss is covered by 10.5 points. That's why they're second. But, dude, incredible teams. TCU is also up there at 4-0. Kansas also 5-0. So,
Squad.
yeah, there's some good teams. We're betting them this week. That's what I like to see.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep riding these teams that are covering.
That Kansas TCU game is going to be interesting, man.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I know. It's going to determine a lot of things.
It's another battle of incredible teams, just like, JMU
Just like we
versus
thought.
Arkansas State.
Speaking
Just
of
like we
incredible
thought.
teams, I'm riding with Clemson this week. I know it's a chalk pick.
Yes. Let's go, John.
I'm riding with Clemson. I'm taking them to win the conference. I'm taking them to win this game. I'm taking them first half. BC stinks, Chip.
They're
I don't
terrible.
care what you say.
It's a red
Whoa,
banana
I
game.
said I told you before the season BC stinks.
It was BC versus Rutgers. You're like, I don't know. BC might be okay. You gave me
Well,
that.
I picked Rutgers. I bet Rutgers against BC.
I know. They were 8.5 dogs. They won the game straight up.
Yeah,
They went
yeah.
outright, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Every week it's like, oh, we don't know. BC, they could be sneaky good. They get smacked. They get smacked by every team just because they beat Maine. I'm supposed to be
I thought BC was bad, and overrated. And then I watched Barstool's college football preview, and Portnoy said they were going to be like a sleeper to win the conference. And I'm like, okay, I know they suck.
God.
I know they suck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've just been mishearing Chip a lot this season
Yeah.
so far, John.
I think I just have the Rutgers game in my brain. Week 1.
Yeah,
Where he's
it's like
talking
thinking
about
Denver is
being
good
okay.
even though
Yeah.
or Seattle's good even though they're not. It's like, yeah, they look good week 1, but dude, Denver stinks.
Yeah. Okay. So are we're all on board with Clemson?
I am minus 20.5, absolutely.
I think they'll crush them. Yeah, just
Yeah.
destroy them.
First half is 10.5. Makes people want to take BC. Don't. Take
Yeah.
Clemson.
DJ's looked a
They're-
lot better, man. Week 1, they had the backup come in a little bit towards the end. They got me that crazy cover. I loved it. But
Boston
DJ's
College
looked
has
good.
no offensive line.
Yeah.
They're playing like backups at every spot on the offensive line, and their starters are bad. Even so, the guy Jerkovich is running for his life the whole game. Boston College doesn't stand a chance in this one.
All right. Take me through your 7 and 8s, guys. Let's get through till this night slate here.
This is the last pick on my board right now that I have. It's Washington State against USC. I think Washington State is one of those teams that have just been a little bit underrated. 4-1 against the spread as well.
USC overrated.
USC maybe is a little overrated. They're 5-0. They score a lot, but I think
who'd they
Washington's
beat?
okay.
They beat Rice. They beat Fresno State, who we learned stinks.
Yep.
They beat ASU. Well, what are we talking about? Stanford? I don't know. Nothing impressed me so far by USC. Their schedule's about to start. I think next week versus Utah, at Utah. That's going to be their first game of the season.
Yeah, that Oregon State was kind of close.
Yeah, they didn't cover.
Yeah. And then
I don't
Oregon
think
State,
they
huge letdown last week. They stink.
Yeah, probably not going to bet this, but I like your pick. Chip,
Yeah, I
you
like 13 points. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chip, any thoughts on this game or any other games here in the 7/8 slate? I definitely want to ask you about BYU Notre Dame. So
Yeah, definitely have thoughts on that one. But on this game, I was looking more at the total. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I was worried about Washington State last week because they had that brutal loss against Oregon, and I was worried they wouldn't be able to bounce back. I actually think I took Cal in that game, and they won that game. And they didn't look great, but they still managed to win. And so I'm not like comfortable betting SC because I agree with you, Greg. I do think Washington State is really good and underrated. And I think they got a really good coach too. And Cam Ward, the quarterback's really good.
Yeah, like
I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. If I was going to lean anywhere, I'd lean towards the over in that one. And again, like every Lincoln Riley team, they got a pretty weak defense at USC. So I think Washington State should be able to score some points on SC. And SC, as we know, will score. I would lean the over, if anything, there. But as far as the 7 o'clock game that I like, the one that I was looking to more than any of the other ones was, and this is more of a spite pick from last week because of what Iowa did against Michigan. I'm taking Illinois.
That's
Yeah.
silly.
-3.5
Just take the under, bro.
against
just take
Iowa.
The under, just take
No.
the under and let it rock, dude.
No, I'm not taking any more totals in Iowa games. I'm done taking totals in Iowa games.
Why? They hit every time.
No, I've taken overs in Iowa games before too.
Oh, they've hit 4 unders, 1 over so far this year.
Yeah, I'm betting
That was versus Rutgers at 34.
That defense didn't score so much. Rutgers would have had that.
Yeah, I know.
I would have never heard the end of it if Iowa lost to Rutgers. I was terrified of that game. I'm not even joking.
It was so damn close. God damn. I fucking hate Iowa so much. Illinois -3.5. Brett Bielema. Yeah. It's at Illinois. Yeah. Bielema's actually done a pretty good job with this team. They're 4-1. The one loss was to Indiana. That was such a fluke loss. They're way better than Indiana. I don't know. There's a reason they're favored. They're the reason they're favored. Yeah, I was just not that good.
So the only thing I'll give you there is the only game that they've been underdogs in was last week, and they didn't cover. And now they're underdogs again.
They're not used to being an underdog.
Yeah,
they don't play as an underdog,
and they don't get to wave to the Children's Hospital in this game. So I feel like that's huge. I don't care what anyone says. I feel like that's such a huge momentum shift. Greg, do you have thoughts on this game? I'm betting under 35.5, no problem. I don't care what it is. I'm taking the under.
Yeah, this is one where I just couldn't take anything because I don't know if Illinois is for real or if Wisconsin's just that bad.
Their running game's really good. Illinois.
Yeah, I like Brett Bielema a lot. I'm happy what he's doing there. He's really, I think, turned the program around. They keep winning. They definitely are taking a step in the right direction this year. The over-under number, though, 34, 35, whatever it is, that's so low that it scares me. But I'm staying away. If I were going to do anything, John, I'd tag along with you and just take the under and hope for a nice, 14-3 win from Illinois.
Yeah. All right. The only game I'm also looking at, but this is just blindly betting. I probably blindly bet on Coastal -13.5, -14, whatever you can get it at.
I wanted to take them so bad, but it scared me.
Louisiana Monroe.
Who are they playing?
Louisiana Monroe.
Coastal just does not look strong. That coach needs to get the fuck out of there. Chadwell, he's got to get out of there.
You keep calling for his job, Chip. You're calling for people's jobs left and right.
No. I'm not calling for his job. I'm saying he needs to get out of there and take
go somewhere better to a better program.
To a better program.
They're 5-0.
Yeah, but they just haven't. They haven't looked like they looked last year.
Yeah, no.
And they're about to get into Sun Belt play and start playing like good teams, and they're not going to finish undefeated.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to win the Sun Belt.
No.
All right, you talking about a little spite pick here, not official spite pick. This is my unofficial spite pick, and that's betting against Fresno State. I mentioned to you I hate Fresno State now. They're driving me nuts. Boise at home, blue turf, sounds good. Give it to me on FS1 at night, like no problem. I'm taking it. Just give me the 7.5. I don't care if I lose it. I hate Fresno, and I'm gonna want to bet on Boise at home, so I'm taking that. And of course, you guys know I'm betting Oregon all day, every damn day. Bring me the Bo Nix slander, baby. Especially if he's playing at night. I'm hyped, dude. He's gonna kill Arizona -13, no problem. Oregon, man. Besides the first game against Georgia, they've been looking incredible. So I'm all in. They're going to smack Arizona. First half full, no problem. And then, as always, if you guys ever need, you fade Hawaii. Just fade them. Take San Diego State, 10:30 at night, 22 points, San Diego State, no problem, bro. No problem. First half, full, doesn't matter. Hawaii, Colorado, Vandy, Akron. Who am I missing?
Colorado State, Nevada,
Nevada. That's 6. Every time I see those teams, I'm just like, I have
Fresno
to
State. You just said 0-4 against the spread. I mean, they haven't covered a game.
They're on my spite list right now. I just hate them.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not one of the worst teams in the league right now. Like I still thought they were going to win the conference.
How
Like,
bad is
seriously.
Fresno that Boise is favored by a touchdown against them when they've looked the way they've looked this year?
Makes no sense, honestly. If it wasn't for last week, which obviously is the most ridiculous line ever in gambling history, but if it wasn't for last week, I would be all over Fresno right now.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this is gonna be sick. 7.5, no problem. But yeah, I'm all over Boise. But that's my full card. We'll be tweeting it out, winning P weekly. What else do you guys got? Anything else, Chip?
Well, you wanted to talk BYU Notre Dame. That's
Oh
the
my
last
I forgot
marquee.
about that.
How can we
game.
forget?
I mean, BYU, Notre Dame in Las Vegas, no Mormons, no Catholics. I don't know who's going to show up to that game. What do you guys think? This is the most rat line I've ever seen in my whole life. It should be completely flipped. I can't think of a game this season so far, NFL or college, where I think it should literally be completely flipped. So as much as I love BYU, I'm terrified.
But doesn't this remind you of, remember when BYU played Baylor, right? And Baylor was ranked and BYU wasn't, or BYU was ranked lower, or it was one of the two, and BYU was favored.
BYU was ranked higher, and they were at home getting points, and it was like, wait, why is a higher ranked team getting points at home? I think is what it was.
Oh, it was that.
Yes.
And
But
it was,
they
but they
that was
were
versus
playing
Baylor.
Baylor.
They covered.
Yeah.
They won
And
by
they beat-
6.
They beat them.
BYU
Yes.
was covered. Yeah, BYU. Let me see.
It's also kind of like, to your point too, talk about those weird lines, those weird games. It was like Michigan State and Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
like Michigan State was ranked before Washington was ranked. They were going to Washington, and somehow they were +3. It's like, wait, why is a ranked team against a non-ranked team getting points?
Yeah.
Washington absolutely killed them.
And you have to look at the stuff like Michigan State was going across the country to play a Pac-12 team, and it just looked weird. And Washington was undefeated at the time too. They looked like they were a pretty good team. I doubt Michigan State had ever played or hadn't played at least Washington in a long time. It was a weird game for them.
Yeah.
Is Notre Dame as bad as I think?
I don't think they're good.
So
But
BYU, the thing is, what gives me trepidation here is also BYU hasn't. They've only been dogs in one game. They didn't cover. That was versus Oregon.
it's
It's versus Oregon, so I don't know. You know, I mean, it's early Oregon too. So they beat Georgia, then they played it. They lost to Georgia, then they played a nonsense game. So the books probably just didn't know what Oregon had yet.
But it's tough betting on Notre, because you have to think about all the Notre Dame fans that hammer Notre Dame spread once the game comes out and adjust the line, because there's so many Notre Dame fans and they're all betting Notre Dame.
It's them, like Notre Dame and the Lakers are my favorite big teams to bet against, because unfortunately, as a Knicks fan, I'm on that side. You know, I ruined
lot
that
of
for the
people-
Knicks.
A
Yeah,
lot of
so
people feel that way about us, I think.
that's what I'm saying about the Knicks. And Dallas without a quarterback is one of my favorite bets. But you know, they don't. But just in general, these huge markets, you're right. If I have to bet this game, I'm taking BYU. But I'm telling you guys, I'm terrified. This game should be -3.5 BYU.
Are you taking the spread BYU, or are you taking money line?
I'll probably, if I'm betting this game, I'll probably take 3.5. And honestly, I'll probably alternate line it to -6.5.
I'm going the opposite way. We talked about this a little bit, so I got looking at some stuff. And I think Chip was kind of saying it a little bit. It made me think of something that I say on the show a few times. I try to remind myself, that's why I say it so much, is the lines in Vegas are not based on what they think is going to happen. It's what they think the betting is going to be, and trying to get 50% of the money on both teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the line open at 5.5.
Yeah.
It's now 3.5, and all the money is coming in on Notre Dame. Like, that's just classic reverse line movement. That's them. That's Las Vegas saying, "Give me all your money, Bet as much as you want on Notre Dame. Hey, I'll move the line down for you and make it more enticing to bet Notre Dame. This is probably going to close at 2.5. People are going to be like, oh, it's under a field goal, hammer Notre Dame. They're going to get to 80% of the money because Vegas knows BYU is going to win this game. So give me BYU.
Yeah,
Give
so
me the...
we're on the same side. What do you mean opposite? You scared me.
No, I don't think I said. I didn't mean to say opposite if I did.
Okay. Okay.
No, I think you guys are talking about it, and I was just trying to summarize what I'm thinking with. They want 50% on each side, and they're not getting it they're not doing it with this line because they know BYU is going to win. They're so confident that they don't need 50% of the money to be on either side. They can let 80% of the money be on Notre Dame because they know BYU is going to win. So
because the game's
BYU.
in Vegas, so it's rigged. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just trying to understand a little bit. It's just trying to understand how Vegas actually makes lines. It's not based on who's going to win. Because to your point, it should be BYU minus 3.5 because Notre Dame hasn't looked good. But they don't. If they did that, then 95% of the money would be on Notre Dame and they might cover. So instead, they can make the number minus 3.5 for Notre Dame and still get 80% of the money on Notre Dame. And
want to do BYU
points.
money line so bad.
Yeah, I'm doing BYU money line in real life in a parlay, but for this, I'll do plus 3.5.
All right.
I might look like an idiot next week after that long dissertation, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, that wraps it up. This whole episode's been a long dissertation. Did 3 best bets each. We did our spite picks. We did our double spite picks. We went through our whole entire slate. Virtually talked about every single game. I think we missed maybe 5.
Yeah, for starting off with us, isn't a great week. We really like the board because we bet about everything.
Yeah.
I don't really like the board. I'm looking at my sheet now.
Yeah.
Plays I have to make.
I always say that. I don't know about the board, and then I bet 20 plus games every week.
Yeah.
So, the power of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys made it all the way here, we appreciate you. Winning P Weekly on Twitter. Chip Murphy 7 on Twitter puts out his bets. We retweet it. We put out my bets. We put out Greg's bets. We dropped the NFL episode. We dropped the college episode. Everything's on the Twitter. Everything's on the Knicks, Jets, etc. Period YouTube. Check out the Winning Picks Weekly playlist. Hit us up. That's it. Anything else, boys?
Now comment on YouTube to let us know what you're taking because we want to know because we want to bet it.
Let's go.
We'll see you next week.
Let's go. Let's make some money. We out.